have by now seen the 10 maxims or commandments of Sri Ramchandra. Just down there. Do any one of you have got any difficulty in understanding it? Do you think they are practicable?
They are practical, but we don't implement one.
They are practicable, but we don't implement. Can you enlighten me what could be the reasons for not able to implement?
Probably we are not giving the thoughts. We are lacking somewhere. Maybe inner consciousness.
Yes, that is the crux of the issue. We know what is good, we do not do what is good. When we try to give our mind or intellect or reasoning, use any word you like, more importance than to other faculties that God has given, namely feeling, love, attachment, empathy, this problem generally comes. For reasons which will be beyond the scope of our discussion, but they are all historical facts. Over about 5,000 to 6,000 years or more, we have been somehow giving too much importance to the intellectual or the mental sphere, and slowly we are getting away from our basis, that is nature. Instead of being one with the mother nature, we have somehow chosen sometime in history a concept of conquering nature. Instead of being in tune with nature, we wanted to conquer it, and there arose all our problems. This problem was not there earlier, because behind every force that was there, the early man was able to see, the Vedic seers were able to see something which is definitely good and which is in order. Even when he praised or adored natural forces, he was not adoring the natural forces as such, but was trying to see what is the good they were doing to him. When we worship sun, they knew very well what sun is, but then they also knew without him they will not be in a position to live, and therefore they granted him the status of God. Similar is the position with the trees, which they knew is very important for their existence, for natural living. Similarly about the rivers, similarly about the mountains, so on and so forth. Somebody from the West who was not able to think all this well early, and all of a sudden, sometime in the middle of the last millennia, the present millennia, the fag end of which we have come already, started their theory of exploitation of the natural resources and consequently exploitation of other human beings also. And they taught us the philosophy that perhaps we are very, very premature set of fellows worshipping this or worshipping that. They could not go to the basis, understandably, because their thinking pattern is such. It is our misfortune that we have started accepting it as correct, and for about 250 years of slavery, or perhaps a bit more, I think we have finally come to a stage when we have got to adjust. Now what sister has said is a problem. We know in our minds that this is right. We are not able to accept it because the language of feeling is almost totally forgotten. Everybody knows some English, some French, some German, some Sanskrit, some Telugu, some Hindi. Some language or the other we seem to be knowing. They are all ways of expression. Ways of experience or the imperience somehow is lost. The natural love between the father and the son, mother and the son, father and the daughter, the natural love that is there between you and me, somehow got eroded for considerations of what we considered or what we have been taught to consider as good, namely opulence, your comfort, do not bother with another person, you live for yourself, stand on your legs. This type of logics have come, and we tended to accept it. The whole system of Sri Ramchandra tries to restore us back to that fundamentals of trying to live with nature, try to be in tune with nature. We are expressions of the divine is a word that we have accepted at the mental level, thanks to the Renaissance period of the last century, when the great Vivekananda came forward and made this statement. Yes, most of us have started remembering our original moods, our original traditions. Most of us have. Many other systems have explained it also. Each one in their own way contributed to our understanding of it. But behind it is a call that again is generally getting forgotten, namely we get into Vedanta or philosophy rather than the practice. An intellectual thing can take you anywhere. Anywhere in your imagination, it can lead you to any place. But feeling is lost there. Information doesn't become knowledge that easily first, because we have got a lot of information in the library. To read it, understand it, it takes some time. That knowledge to become understanding takes an enormous input. There is a lot of effort we have to put in between these two. Simply because we know something, I do not think we understand that. The most difficult thing to understand in life is the word sacrifice. And I am proud of being an Indian, knowing the value of sacrifice. But sacrifice is a word which will not go along with individuality. If you talk independence, don't talk about sacrifice. They are mutually contradictory, they will not go together. A society based on the value of independence is bound to fail. And that is what our asuras were supposed to have had. And what type of stories you have got, I don't have to repeat all of them, most of you know all that. In sacrifice lies the value of divinity. The sun burns himself from morning to night so that we continue to live. Sacrifice is the basis of divinity. When anybody says that you are a Mahatma or you are a divine personality, he is only trying to tell you that you are capable of thinking beyond your selfishness and try to do good for others. Only when we talk in terms of selfless service, we talk in terms of attributing divinity to him. Gandhiji is a Mahatma for the only reason he was able to sacrifice so much of his personal life for the sake of the nation. Otherwise he will not be. So are so many. It's only one example I give. There are so many people whom you can quote. There are perhaps many more whom we do not know at all. It is not necessary that all gods should be known also. That is why the number has been put at some staggering 360 crores, so that you do not have to count them. One or two you will definitely start counting. Who are they? When you put the number at 360 crores, you will not bother to count. The simple reason behind it is there are so many. Every one of us have got that capacity to become the divine. And how to become divine is this system. The system of Sri Ramchandra's Raj Yoga is not meant just for getting some satisfaction, some peace of mind. No. How to live up to our potential of being divine. That's our potential. Human is not the potential. Many people talk in terms of human resource development. I am ashamed to use that word in this country for the only reason I have been told from the beginning that there is a divine resource that has to be developed. So let us develop the divine resource. Human resource will come in the way. It is just like one more qualification that we get. Let us become human at least, I agree. Temporary goal. But our goal is not that. Our goal is to become divine. The divine resource has to come out. And we are capable of doing such sacrifices. We are capable of doing something very, very good to others. At least we can think good of others. At present we think good of ourselves. From this level let us come out of it and think good for others. How much you can do, later on that starts. First of all, let us start thinking something outside ourselves. It's time to think in those lines. Because I'll tell you two small examples. There are actual incidents that have happened. I was reminded about yesterday. One of my distant relatives, happens to be a cousin actually, became a CEO by 34th or 35th year. Right on the top he was. He gave a ring to me about 2 years back. Uncle, I have reached the position. My father and mother have been pestering me for this type of position. I have got it now. What next? Can you tell me what next? The question was something over phone. I couldn't answer in detail. So I said, when I meet you next time, we will have more time to talk about it. Don't worry, carry on. After about 8 days, I received the message he committed suicide. And his only reason is he does not find a purpose for his life. He has no purpose. Because he has reached the pinnacle. He got the maximum position that anybody can think of. And he committed suicide. There was another incident yesterday. One of my friends, old friend, who met me after 25 years, he came and he was talking to me about his relatives. His cousin actually. This boy belonged to the Brahmin community. He married a Kama woman. So far there is no problem there. The problem started, it seems one of the conditions of the marriage is that they should not have any children. Right, this fact came to the knowledge of the parents much later. And it seems they see once in about 8 to 9 months. They work in 2 different places in states, far, far away, perhaps Kanyakumari and Kashmir. So he was telling, what is this Narayan, what am I to do? This is what is the position. I said, it is their life, they have chosen that independent life. You and I are talking about interdependence. They are talking about independence. So the values are entirely different. So unless there is a change in the value system, we will not be in a position to communicate to them, or they will not be in a position to communicate. We can talk, but we will never communicate. Exchange of words is always possible. Exchange of words doesn't mean anything. We never learn anything from that. So what I am trying to impress upon you is, so long as we are going to live for ourselves, we will lose to have meaning for our life itself. The meaning for life lies only in living for others. If you are going to live for yourself, there is no meaning at all. It has zero value. You will get into that frustrating mood. Really, nobody knows what exactly it is. And one more thing also I have to tell you, because it seems that when she comes also, she will not make him coffee which he likes, because she likes tea. And so there is a big quarrel every time they meet on this issue of a coffee and tea. I'm not joking, this is exactly what yesterday my friend told me. I'm just repeating to you, because this is the way in which we are going. The amount of tolerance. Alright, you have coffee, I'll have tea, at least that is a good understanding. No, not that way. I come once in a way to meet you, therefore you should take tea. And he says, once in a way you come, you better take coffee. So where is the end to this? This is a very, very funny situation to which we are going. And why I am giving such a big, some sort of an introduction to the whole subject is, let us learn, first of all, to live in tune with nature. Nature teaches you certain things. So the first thing, the first commandment of Sri Ramchandra starts with, rise before dawn. Why not I get up sometime in the afternoon, sometime at 12 o'clock in the afternoon? What is wrong about it? The reason is, when you want to participate with nature, nature starts activity at that time, so you also start your activity at that time, before that time. You be in tune. To be in tune would be to follow, and that is much more superior than you. You may perhaps rise a few minutes later or earlier, but the sun will rise only exactly to the same second. According to the calendar, you can see there will be no change. So there is a meeting place between activity and inactivity. The night was inactive, the morning is active. Thanks to you, I put this question to me, sir, how do you say that? Now today night, the entire night we are active. Yes, we are active. We have killed nature, that's why it is so. We have deliberately killed nature, saying that there is no difference between night and day. Yes, it's very difficult for you to teach your children as to what is night and what is day. If you are just going to go into any metropolitan city where you will find every time light, because it has been my very tough experience to explain to my granddaughter what it is to think about darkness in the night, because everywhere there is light. So when I said that nights will be dark, no, she says, no, it's not dark, it is blue. So I said, no, it is dark. Then she said, no, it is blue. So one day, fortunately in Hyderabad we have got so many days when there are no power cuts. So it was easy for me to go and say, now you see what it is. So much that way also it's a blessing. Now and then you lose power, at least to teach certain concepts. Otherwise it's impossible to teach that concept. How to say that nights are dark? In a situation like this, how do you say that? We have deliberately killed. What I am trying to tell you is, and those of you know a bit of Ramayana should remember that when this Anjaneyya entered Lanka in the night, it was all bright. So he was confused whether it is morning or night. He was in one of the greatest confusions at that time. I think we are in no better position than that today. I don't want to make the conclusion that all of us are asuras, but then by and large that seems to be the position. It's a very miserable state of affairs in which we are now. But if we want to restore ourselves to balance, first thing is to be in tune with nature. Night is inactive, day is active. Your heart is the place where there is both activity and inactivity. It beats. There's one off period and one on period. Similarly, it's the night and day. So he says to you that you get up early in the morning, meditate at that time. How long, how much is a secondary issue. That is 1 hour or half an hour, 45 minutes, 1.5 hours. Each person decides. And in a modern world like this, since you cannot give too much time, Babuji has fixed the time as 1 hour. He says you take it as 1 hour as the time. It's fairly arbitrary. There's nothing very, very what we call it, unquestionable axiom about it. Nothing. You may be sitting for 45 minutes, you may be sitting for 1.5 hours. It all depends upon the time. But for a busy person, to give more than that time is not possible. Those of you who have done some sort of worships, you should have seen the amount of time we take. Generally about 3 to 4 hours you take to complete all your things. As against it, you restrict it to 1 hour before the dawn itself. That's very advantageous for us because we have to go to offices, we have to attend to our other work. So do it early. If you do it later, you will not be in a position to do justice to both. I am aware of very many pious people at various levels in government service, of which I was a part till recently. While they say, sir has not come, why? Because there was some puja in his house, sir, he is becoming only late. At what time is expected? Maybe around 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock. This is a daily situation. Because every day there is some puja or the other, something or the other happens. I am not here to judge their ethical standards. No, I am not here to judge that. But I can only say it has affected their work. But if you don't want to affect your work and also be happy, this is a better way is to get up before dawn. Do your puja early. Sit in the same place for the only reason that is always, vibrations are always there. You carry the vibrations in the same place. And that's how we start the day. But people who have got questions about the tradition, they say Trikala Sandhya. There is something like a morning prayer, morning Sandhya, afternoon Sandhya, evening Sandhya. I don't know how many of you are aware of all these things, but most of the people who try to do all the three at least gave up the afternoon one very early, because it was impossible to leave the office at that time to go and attend to that work at 12 o'clock. Most of the people. Of course, the Purohits have done it to the extent that they were capable of. People who did not have any other avocation except doing priestlyhood, that they have been practicing. But by and large, for the common man, it's out of question. And the common man, for reasons which we do not know, even coming from greater traditions, has moved into the service sector. The reason for that was the alleged poverty. Alleged poverty is what made our ancestors move on to jobs. Jobs with the Westerners. And thereby, in a sense, participated in the betrayal program of the independence of the country. Maybe very bitter to hear all this, but that is the truth. The truth is, by joining their hands, we have sacrificed our life and we have come to this position. Had each one attended to his job properly, this position would not have come. But then they were told that they were poor. So as against it, if you look at people, ancient saints, who said that poverty is by choice. Why do you want to be poor? Because only under those circumstances I can think about God. Why do you want miseries? That is the circumstance under which I can think about God. That is the famous story of the Kunti herself. As against that value which was there early, we have compromised enormously. We means our ancestors. We means we are a part of them and they were part of us. So this is how we have deteriorated. Whatever it is, it has happened. You cannot reverse. You can't get back. So what is the best way out? what is the best way out? If you put that question, best way out, this is the answer that my master gives you. Namely, you adjust your timings in such a way that you meditate in the morning, you take off, go to your work. But then when you go to work, think whatever work it is, think that it is the master himself is doing. And there he is bringing a very big concept of Bhagavad Gita into practice. In Bhagavad Gita you find, it's about the second chapter, you will find that Lord Krishna clarifies the point that think that I am the doer, not you. You are nobody to do, I am the person to do. If he is the person to do, our efficiency level should be at the highest, because God cannot be inefficient. God by definition cannot be inefficient. So whatever is our best potential will definitely come to the forefront if you think he is doing it. So during the day you follow this. Afternoon you are not going to meditate. It's out of question because your office is there. But since you are going to do the entire day, all your activities thinking it is the divine that is performing, you will not have the necessity of doing it at that time. It's an alternative that has been given. The third one, in the evening, he modifies the sandhya from of course the sandhya, if you have studied well, has got a mantra to this effect, but least understood. I would not like to go beyond a limit. But then if anyone of you is interested, I will tell you what exactly is the thing that was given. They said that we have to think that all of my activities have somehow caused impressions in me. Somehow, good, bad, indifferent, some impressions are formed. So it is my activity, my thinking, my attachment that formed these impressions, and therefore it is my duty to get rid of it. So we clean our hands, we clean our face, clean our feet. Similarly, clean your heart also. This is what is asked to be done in the evening, cleaning process. Again you rest. Before go to rest, think about God and go to rest. Why? Who takes care of you when you are asleep? It is God who takes care of you. The oldest truth of the Vedas is this. In the night we are in the company of God when we are deep asleep. And that is why most of us know in this country that we do not disturb people when they are sleeping, because he is in the company of the divine. You have normally no business to disturb him. So through the night you go through that, you go to rest, again the activity starts. That is how the first commandment goes. You can go through the commandments that are there, the books are available, the commentary also is there. What should be the type of prayer that I offer? Should I ask for something of a relief from my problems? Should I ask for some relief for somebody who is suffering in my house? Or should I ask for something else? So when God is there to ask, we don't ask all these things. We ask only for our being one with Him.
But to be the human nature, we do go into it, isn't it?
Yes, we do. It is not the human nature as such that makes you think. It is the attachment that you have developed that makes you think as such. And that attachment has been given enormous importance compared to another fundamental logic, a very fundamental truth of science, that as you sow, so you reap. It's a fundamental truth. But whenever we think in terms of God, we want an exemption from this axiom. This is an axiom. As you sow, so you reap is an axiom. But whenever the concept of God comes, we always think in terms of seeking exemption from this. Under some rule, as a government servant, I would like to put under this rule so and so, please give me some exemption. It happens. It has been our habit. From which time has it been our habit?
Because we are very selfish, we have selfish motives.
Selfishness is you're right, selfishness is a point that we have got. of the animal nature, because it's a preservation instinct. Selfishness is another word for preservation. You want to continue, that's what you call selfish. You want to annihilate, then you won't call it selfish. Nobody annihilates himself for selfishness. But then the human nature should be in accordance with the divine, which annihilates itself. Every second it burns itself to see that I live. The one Sri Ramchandra that all of us are aware of goes on burning incessantly so that I live here. That is the type of demand, that is the type of demand of God. These attachments that we are saying that are ours actually are not really attachments. When you go deep into it, finally, I would like somebody to be happy. Yes, I would like to. When your house burns, except for a mother, nobody bothers about the child. When the house burns, except for the mother, nobody bothers about the others. They run away. So all this talk of trying to do something good for others, etc., you can understand for yourself what it is. Why should I make conclusions? I can only tell facts. This is the fact. That's the fact of life. We would like to save ourselves. Basically, that's animal instinct. Nothing wrong about it. Because we are animals. And every one of us is an animal. How can we say we are not? We are animals. Actually, we are naras. A small level above vanaras. In the vanara, you have got a tail. And we are nara. We don't have. This nara has to become one who can think, and that is a manava. The man who starts thinking is a manava. A person who thinks for the good of others is a manishi. And a person who goes beyond that is a kavihi. Not every poet is a kavi. Not every poet is a kavi. Kavi is somebody different. And he is capable of seeing where Ravi cannot see. That means he is capable of going beyond the limits of nature. Limitations are not there for a kavihi. And he is supposed to be paribhuhu, and he is supposed to be swayambhuhu. So many adjectives have been given in the Vedas for that. It's very difficult to grasp the concept of what is the extent up to which we can grow. But the misfortune is, we tend to live at the animal level. It is true. And most of our prayers are dependent upon that animal level. So it is for each one of us to know whether we should restrict ourselves only to the animal level or we should go beyond that. While it is a fact, day-to-day life we do pray for all these things, our approach to God should be always, in our meditations, our approach should be for our spiritual upliftment, not for the relief. I may have some problem, you have some problem, my wife have some, your mother will be having something like that. It's natural for you to ask. You'll have to grow out of it. Incidentally, now this problem has come. I'll tell you one small incident. A few days back I received a letter from another gentleman. He was to have his first child. And there were some labor problems. This happened in states, not here. So this man was already a practicant of this system. So he sat beside his wife and then I think touched her body or something and then prayed for her relief from this pain or whatever it is, and she did have a good delivery. The problem is over. This man's problem started now. He started writing to me, sir, you asked me to think only in terms